Hello everybody. In this video, I'm going to be debunking an article by the Creation Research Institute. However, I will not be debunking all of it at once. I will do another part if this video gets 15 likes. I know that is a humongous goal for my channel, but I promise if we get so far, I will start writing the script for the other video immediately, or as soon as I have time for that, considering I haven't already made a schedule with videos that I'll have to produce before that. With that out of the way, let's begin.
Wow, this video has got a magnificent start. They claim that because nobody has seen evolution, it can't be true. For some people, this might be a great reason to reject it. However, once we look deeper into it, it falls apart. There are many things we haven't seen happening, but we know are in fact true. Such is also the atomic theory. We cannot directly observe atoms, but does that mean they don't exist? We haven't witnessed the building process of the Moai statues on the Easter Island, yet we see them today, right? In all seriousness, let's debunk this claim. They also go on to claim that there is a variety within a given kind, but that there are no dats or cogs. See, there are no dats and cogs, because cats and dogs cannot breed with each other. They have separated from each other, as clades, so long ago, that a mix between the two becomes impossible. About the first part of their statement, you might think this debunks dogs, cats, and even finches evolving, right? No. Evolution is not simply a magical process, where an animal is one species in a given generation and another in the next. This takes an incredibly long amount of time, so long, in fact, that since the dawn of human history, which in itself is more than 100,000 years, flora and fauna haven't changed very much. Sure, there are no woolly mammoths or rhinoceroses anymore, nor any giant sloths, but as a matter of fact, ecosystems have remained relatively similar since the end of the last ice age. Evolution is simply the process of adaptation over extremely long periods of time. There is always variation within an animal species' genomes, with some including new or slightly altered information. Those that fare well better in their environment are more likely to pass on their genes, and those that don't survive, well, they're an evolutionary dead end. For major changes to appear in an animal or plant's appearance or behavior, there needs to be a relatively constant environmental pressure to do so, and even then, it takes a huge amount of time. Additionally, not only do long periods of time have to pass, for new species to appear, there needs to be a division in the population in a given kind, so as to need to undergo different adaptations in order to survive. Such case is the bonobo. The reason why they are behaviorally different than the chimpanzees is, because when the Congo River formed around 2 million years ago, it separated the ancestral population of the ancestral species in two. One of them, whose descendants are the modern chimpanzees, found themselves in a place with less fruits to chew on and more competition from gorillas. That is the reason why they are commonly known to be super aggressive. On the other hand, the ancestors of the bonobo had different conditions, more vegetation to consume, and less competition and even overlapping territories with the ancestors of modern-day gorillas. That is why, not seeing a new species magically evolve, either in a lab or in the wild, doesn't disprove the scientific theory of evolution. Even though, technically we see evolution all the time around us, such as the previously mentioned populations of finches, and even dogs and cats. Their second great objection is that the traditional scientific method involves observation and replication, which means that evolution is not scientific, as it cannot be replicated in a lab. Well, again, we have never directly observed atoms either, but I assume you accept at least that, right? Another objection from this article to evolution is that there are no transitional fossils. Despite how intriguing this objection might sound to some, one simple question completely depletes all the logic from this question. That is, what do you expect a transitional fossil to look like? Say, a bird-looking creature that points resemblance to theropod dinosaurs? Look no further than the Archaeopteryx. Or, say a duck with a crocodile head? Well, first of all, as I said previously, evolution is not a species just randomly turning into another. There are countless transitional phases. For the existence of a crocoduck, be it present or even past, there would need to be huge changes of how science views the natural world around us. Pay attention, viewers. If, say, a young Earth creationist was to tell you there aren't any transitional fossils at all, ask them, how would one look like? They are likely going to be dead silent, and even if they answer with something, you could choose from the previously stated reply, whatever fits their question better. And remember, technically, all fossils are transitional, because of how evolution simply works. Now, I will put an animation of sorts, that counts a numerous amount of transitional animals, in case you need to name them. Another objection that really reveals how little knowledge they have of whatever they're claiming they are debunking is that life couldn't have possibly started from a bunch of chemicals. Why, you might ask? Well, the scientific theory of evolution doesn't in any way, shape or form, deal with the origin of life itself. It explains how life came to such diversity we have today, yes, however, it doesn't explain how it all started. As a matter of fact, it never was its purpose, just like how the purpose of Genesis was not supposed to be a scientific textbook, from which you gather information on the natural world from, that would have been pointless at the time. The next supposed problem for evolution is the Cambrian explosion. How could have simple unicellular life have turned into the vast array of biodiversity there was then? Well, first of all, multicellular life appeared more than 2 billion years ago, evidently so by tunnels that must have been dug up back then. But of course, it was still very simple back then. But what about the Ediacaran era, the one that just predates the Cambrian period? Well, even then, life was still diverse, with organisms ranging from Dickinsonia to Sprigina, and even algae. But how could that evolve into the much more diverse animal groups that appeared in the next period? Well, it involves multiple factors, such as the evolution of predation and the release of enriched chemicals into the water from the melting of glaciers just before the Cambrian explosion. This all allowed for organisms to diversify way quicker, and plus, with the evolution of predators, an evolutionary arms race started for quite literally the first time in Earth's history, that we know of, between prey and predator. For example, predator evolved speed in order to catch the prey, which in turn adapts by evolving camouflage to blend in with the ocean flood, which then triggers the predators to develop more advanced light-sensing cells, and so on. Still, 30 million years is an incredibly long amount of time, more than we could ever even fathom. And, with all that said, including how life first started to diversify so much in order to survive, the Cambrian period remains a problem no longer. Another pretty dumb proposition given by the Creation Research Institute is that animals with exoskeletons evolved into vertebrates. Firstly, this is extremely false, not even just mildly. The vertebrae of some chordates evolved by at first stiffened fibers inside the animal that allowed it to support and move itself more easily, which then hardened and hardened. Then they ask, why don't we see any transitional fossils from invertebrates to vertebrates? Well, even if they got the first part right, they still lack the knowledge that fossilization is an incredibly hard and unlikely process to occur. On top of that, soft-bodied animals, such as octopi, are largely absent from the fossil record, because the process of fossilization really favors organisms with hard parts. The next claim they think they have debunked evolution with is the fact that rarely, if even never, fully fossilized remains of the ancestors of humans have been found, such as simply jawbones, wrists, etc. Well, see, again, things don't fossilize very easily. And even then, even if it manages to, the likelihood of it not being destroyed before being found is very low. It will be destroyed by even things as simple as rain, or by things as serious as earthquakes, fires, floods, plate tectonics, etc. And even then, we have found transitional organisms between apes and humans, such as Australopithecus, Homo erectus, Homo habilis, etc. Additionally, all of what we know about Gigantopithecus comes from teeth and the occasional jawbone. Heck, this was a hard video to film. I feel as if my IQ dropped by 150%. But no worries, if this video receives just 15 likes, you might see me subjecting myself to the same form of torture again. Thank you for watching, guys, and see you next time.